I guess it has to let you know that for privacy reasons and that kind of thing, that the meeting is now being recorded. Hey, everybody, it is Sandra. Happy Wednesday. Glad to see everybody. It is officially the middle of the month. And so whenever I said on the reminder about it, I said M.O.M, it wasn't about mom, it was middle of the month. And so it is officially middle of the month. And holy cow, Sandra here ain't saying in the same boat that she was in last month at this time. So I got to dig in and get moving. But what we're going to do right now, we're going to start this just like we do every Wednesday. I want you to write down what you're grateful for here in the last 24 hours, 3 to 5 things. I'm going to open up the chat group if you want to jot one of them in your chat group. I know Sonia is quite grateful to have gotten home safely, as are we all. And so, but if you want to, feel free to jot one of your gratefuls there in the chat. Awesome. April, I think we are all very glad that we have those friends that do continue to push us, even on the days, weeks, months that we're just watering seeds. We are grateful for those friends because sometimes those friends believe in us when we don't believe in ourselves. And but we're going to talk about that here in just a little bit. All right, you got your gratefuls down. So now what I want you to do is I want you to go in, I want you to jot down your I ams. If it weren't for the ones popping in my phone every day, I don't know that I would say I ams out loud all the time like I'm supposed to. So that's something I have to get better at. Okay, awesome. Okay, so this is when you're going to want to have your extra device handy. We're going to go in. You can continue to add your IMs. If you're someone who has like 10 that you do a day and you write them down every single day, then those are ones that you're going to want to go in and finish those up. All right, so first of all, we're going to start with our rate of run. This is going to be a moment of truth for Sandra here. So let's go log in. It's not going to be pretty. Last month I did great. By this time I was busting it out with the promoter packs. Yeah, not quite the same this month. I'll be honest, y'all, I'm about $3,200 below where I was last month at this time. So I'm like sucking eggs. So so we're going to do some things that are going to move the needle. And these are things that you can continue each day. All right, so scroll down to your business snapshot. Take a look at what your QV is, your current QV. Take that number and divide it by 16 because today is the 16th. Take the number that you just came up with the smaller number and multiply it now by 30 because we have 30 days this month. And y'all, I am not where I need to be. Not at all. So this lets me know that it's time to poop or get off the pot, quit tootling around, and get some things happening. I've got to get the needle moving. One of the things I will share with y'all really quick. I heard a leader one time say several years ago that to her, she thinks of this as like a 90-day cycle. The people you're talking to today may be the same people that you're still feeding information to over the next 30, 60, and even 90 days before they order. So it's like a 90-day cycle. Some people, they're only on like a 1-week cycle, and they'll try their Thrive Experience Pack, their sample, boom, they'll order. A lot of times it can be 90 days. Okay, so yesterday, case in point, Sonia, I got an order last night. It's somebody that I shared a sample with and have been talking to since March. And I was like, oh, it is so true, that whole 90-day cycle thing. But if I'm not still doing things that are going to move the needle and get those orders and still planting those seeds and XYZ, then where am I going to be in 90 days from now? Sitting with nothing in my hands. So that's why, like I've heard other leaders say, you have to get comfortable with doing the same thing. You got to get comfortable with routine, get comfortable with being with the boring stuff, but it's not boring in a way because you're exposing all kinds of new people to the Thrive experience. Now, here's some things that I'm going to have y'all do. Now, this next thing, you have to do it on your computer. You can't do it from your phone. We talked about this last week, and here's why. Oh, she disappeared. April disappeared. Anyway, you'll have to do it eventually, like when we're maybe not on this Zoom, if you're on your Zoom on your computer, and that's printing your friends list. So last week when I uploaded the Zoom meeting, I went in there and I uploaded a video that showed you how to do that. Here's why after this Zoom, you're going to do that before you go to bed tonight. I had a girl who was getting ready to click the promoter button Saturday evening after she got off work. She and I both were working Saturday morning at the Y. While she was at the Y working, her whole entire Facebook disappeared. We've heard it happening to people. We've heard it happening to people on Instagram. And she was trying to change her password so she could get back in. And every time she would change it, it would get changed back. She couldn't get in. And so somebody either hacked her horrifically or Facebook had completely deleted her. So she ended up having to make a whole new account. And as of the count Saturday night, I don't know how many friends she originally had. She had 5 by the end of the Saturday night. And y'all, this is the day she was hitting the promoter button. So if you have no clue how many friends you have and who all is actually in there, we got to print it tonight. That's one of the things I'm going to do before I go to bed. But that being said, we're also going to go into Facebook right now, and we're going to do some of the activities that they mentioned in the Soar to 4 group. April, nod your head yes if you're in the Soar to 4K group. Yes or no? You're not. Okay. Do you know what it is? Okay. All right. So the Soar to 4 group, and Sonia, are you in it? Okay. So the Soar to 4 group was a brainchild of several leaders who were like, okay, well, they've got this new rank advancement. We have until the end of August. There's a lot of new people. They want to hit 4K. They want to hit 12K. And we need to gather as many people together that want to learn techniques and strategies and things like that in order to help them get there. And so, April, I'm not sure who your upline is. Type it in the chat group for me. And oh, way to go on the girl that ordered just a few weeks ago. Way to go. That's awesome. We just never know. We never know. So put it in the chat group for me real quick who your upline is. And that way I'll know how to direct you for the Soar to 4 group. Each day they are giving us tasks to do in this 4K, basically it's a 4K group. I'll get with you in a minute, April, because I'm not sure who Andrea Hollister is. Anywho, so you'll go to the announcement section because people are introducing themselves and so forth. But if you go to the announcement section, each of the daily tasks that they pop in with or the live videos that they're popping in with from these leaders will be there under the announcement section. So I was looking for some things and I had to go click announcements in order to get past some of the people, saying, hello, this is who I am, yada, yada. I'm in that group because I need to get my husband to 12K. He has been 4K when there was not a rank advancement of any way, shape, or form, but I've got to get him to 12K. So I'm going back through this as if I'm like brand new person, whatever, but it's also helping me with some strategies in order to help my people who are wanting to get to VIP 800 or their 4K, that kind of a thing. All right. So yesterday they talked about having a list of 6 things that you basically are your kind of your non-negotiables that you do each day. And so let me go find that really quick. We're going to do a couple of the ones that they talked about. Mitzi Driver talked about this one. It's her list of 6. She tries to add 50 people to her social media, to her network, whether it's social media or whether she's meeting them belly to belly, whether it's Instagram, Facebook. 50 is her goal. Now, 50 may be kind of crazy for us. Sonia works from her house. She doesn't get to get out of her house very much and get belly to belly with people. That kind of a thing. And so you have to set what the number is for you. Keeping your social media resume clean. What that means is keeping up with the times and making sure that your social media accounts are updated. Do you have a newer picture of yourself? I had to make sure I had the group, my team's group, the big banner picture updated. It still said Ultimate Thriver on it. I realized, I'm like, oh my gosh. So got that updated. So just staying on top of those things, keeping in touch with, your upline, keeping in touch with your customers. If you have promoters underneath you, keeping in touch with them. I keep a list of all of my promoters' names and I touch base with them at least once a week. That way I make sure I am connecting with them. They may not necessarily need me, which is fine, but at least I'm making that contact with them, letting them know, hey, is there anything you need from me this week? XYZ, blah, 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 blah. Committing to learning one new thing a day. And I learned something new about Instagram the other day. So I'm going to share that with y'all. So if you go into your Instagram stories, and I learned this from Lindsay, and I messaged her 15 jillion times, making it clear, clarifying. She was doing a video in Instagram stories. And while she was doing it, she actually could do a voiceover while the video was happening. And there is a white button. Let's see here. You see the big white button down there at the bottom? Okay. So like I could go live right now, somewhere in here. Yeah. You can do a voiceover to where you can make comments about the live. If it's a little confusing, because I still am new with it and I haven't attempted it yet because I think I'm still a little green on it, go look up voiceover on Instagram story video. And it will give you the details of how to do it. That's a new thing in stories that I didn't even know we could do. And y'all, there's something new all the time in stories that we can do that create that extra piece of content or create that extra interest. And so commit to learning at least one new thing a day. Now, while you've got your second device opened up, I want you to go to your Facebook. We're going to click on your name and you're going to go to your friends. Hang on, let's see if I can find it. I'm wanting to find where you have sent friend request. That's what I want to find your pending friend request. Maybe it's not underneath friends. Mm. Do you know what I'm talking about, y'all? Not the friend request that people have sent you, which you can delete those, confirm them, or just hide them, whatever. There's some people that they may just sit there, but any friend request that you've sent out, that's what I'm trying to find, y'all. You want to go in and you want to delete any pending friend requests that you've sent. It has something to do with your algorithm, because what it does is it makes it look like, oh, that person's been sitting there waiting for her forever, and that person doesn't want to be their friend, so maybe they're not important. That's kind of how I look at it. It may be something you have to do on your phone. Okay. Not on your phone, on your computer. But cancel any pending friend requests. Okay. One of the other things that we're going to work on is, now, April, I know that you've been in the business now a year. There was a video about 4 years ago with, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, with Beth Graves. She's a 200K out of Florida, and she talked about a 100s list. And that is a list of names of people that you want to be working with, messaging, things like that. So it might be a compilation of people that are your ride or die, the people who do anything for you, the people who you know would do great at this business, the people who you know need the product. And so it's a list of 100 people. Now, what Beth did is she did them on Post-it notes. Well, and she had them all over her wall. Okay, I couldn't do that because my Post-it notes were falling all over the place. They would not stick. And then you would, the premise was you would move them based on, okay, these are the people you're talking to right now. Okay, they've ordered, then you move it over into the order section, whatever. That got really cumbersome, and it was more work of filling out stinking Post-it notes. But what I want you to take a look at is your hundreds list. And your hundreds list is going to be your list of your top 100 people that you know either need the product, would do the business with you, XYZ. Update that list and take a look at it and go, and here's what you could do is, when you print your friends list on Facebook, some of those people may be people that you're going to add to your hundreds list. So for me, what I'll do is I'll just add out to the side hundreds. I color code everything because I taught kindergarten. Hello, I lived my life in color code. So that way you see who your hundreds list people are, and then you're not having another extra list. When you print your Facebook friends, you may end up with 14 or 15 pages, and that's okay. What I do is I go in there and I mark off people that are promoters, things like that I know I'm not going to even kind of have to, not necessarily the promoters underneath me, but other promoters within the network, within the industry that I may still be friends with. I've unfriended a lot of folks, but I just follow them now. And so that has helped my friends list as well. So updating your hundreds list on the list of your Facebook friends. You may see somebody on there, you're like, oh my word, I forgot about them even. And you're like, and you go in and you start looking at their stuff on Facebook, and you're like, oh, they need some thrive. They need some thrive in their life. This is where you just are working on the reach outs. You're working on the connections. You're doing the 3, 2, 1. Liking 3 of their pictures, commenting on 2, going into stories and commenting, or going into Messenger and making a conscious custom comment, not necessarily maybe all at the same time, so that they don't, the friend doesn't go, yeah, she creeping on me, she wants me to get that thrive stuff from her. And I don't know why I can't find my pending friend request. That's going to drive me crazy right now. Maybe I have to do that on my computer. April, unmute for just a second.
Okay.
Do you have to do that on your computer? Are you on your computer right now?
I don't have a computer. I only have a phone.
Okay. Okay. It looked like you had a
have
computer in your lap, so that's why I was asking.
I remember doing it, but I don't remember how I did it.
Right, me too. So that's something.
I went in like Google and typed in Facebook and logged in my Facebook that way. I think that's how I did it, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
It's been like a month.
Okay. But just
I don't remember exactly.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, Sonia, unmute.
So on your computer,
Yes.
you have to do it from your computer.
Okay.
And you'll go over under, where was it? So on your home tab, to the left, you're going to see your name and then friends, and you're going to click on friends, and then underneath that there is friend request, and then it says view sent requests.
There you go. That's what I was looking for, and I was hoping you could do it on your phone. And April, we'll figure out how you can do it on your phone so that you can do that as well. So that means, you know, cleaning up your Facebook, that kind of thing, committing to learning one new thing a day, printing your friends list, updating the hundreds list on your friends list. And then today, I don't know about y'all, but you know, I thrive for free. Charlie thrives for free. But for some reason, when you're trying to help your friends thrive for free, it is the hardest thing in the world. And the reason why is because they're not promoters. They don't know what to do. So when you say, you know, if your friend's interested, put me in a group chat, they're going to be like, I can't do that. You know, kind of like we were here at the beginning. But Missy Crimp went on today and she did a video about 2:00 today. And she talked about how she helps her customers thrive for free. Now, Missy is direct to Paul, and she's over in Indiana. So she's not somebody we typically hear from very often because, you know, we hear from our leaders and things like that. And in this 4K group, this sort of 4, you've got 200K leaders who are not just all under Maria. And so we're going to be hearing from all of these leaders with some other ideas. It may be some of the same things, but they may have tweaked it just a little bit that maybe we hadn't thought of. And so I have to drive to Waynesville here in a little bit. And on my way home, I'm going to be listening to this. I have to drive Arden up there. So on the way home, I'm going to be listening to Missy's video about how she helps her friends thrive for free. She also shared a badge that someone had made that says, I thrive for free. And you can put that up on your profile picture on your Facebook. And that's going to get people asking you, okay, what is this? How do you thrive for free? You know, that kind of a thing. And so that is something that y'all can do as well. So all of these things that I'm sharing with you that have come out of this group are things that every single one of us can do, and we can make them a part of some of our daily tasks. Let's see. One of the things that they mentioned in the list of 6 things that she does is Mitzi sets her goals weekly, daily, and monthly, no matter how little or how crazy they are. She sets her goals. Now think about it. For us, a lot of us, we made our vision board the beginning of January. Have we added to it? Have we marked off of it? Has it sat there and we remember to take a look at it? Or are we actually is it static in the fact that it just sits there, or is it an interactive? And so that's where committing to your goals during the week will really make the vision board come to life. If you are in the Lebanon area, on June the 25th, Tammy is hosting a vision board party where you can update your vision board. You can add tweak things, take, whatever you want to do. I'm going to be gone. I can't go. April, are you in Ohio? Shake your head. Yes or no? Okay. I didn't think so. I always think you're in Ohio. And then I'm like, oh crap, she's not in Ohio. So don't forget to work with your vision board and not let it just become static and sitting up there and not doing anything. Because I'll tell you, I've been guilty of that. It's like, okay, I've gotten this done. Thrive-A-Palooza, yep, did that. Did I get the first rank advancement? Nope. Okay, mark that off. But I need to put up a new picture for the summer edition. I don't have that. Do I have Charlie's name next to the summer edition picture? No. Do I have Charlie's picture next to the summer edition? No. Those are things that I need to be adding. So don't forget that in as important as it is as you do your reach outs, that you don't forget about taking a look at your goals. We always take a look at our goals at the beginning of the month. Middle of the month, we're like, okay, well, where are you? Are you getting close to it? Or you're kind of like me and you're sitting here with $3,000 behind where you were last month at this time. And you're like, oh, holy moly, I got to get my butt in gear. So Andrea, April, who is your 200K? Do you know who your closest 200K is? If you don't know, it will tell you in your cloud office. It should tell you in your cloud office who your 200K is. If Andrea does not know, she needs to ask her upline, because you'll want your 200K to add you into this Soar to 4 group. Because it is something you can be added to, because the way that you find out about the Zooms each week is they get put in Thriving Sisters, they get put in Freedom Thrivers, Dream Team, and what have you. So you're on one of those teams somewhere. So one of those 200Ks should be able to add you into that Soar to 4 group. Earlier, right before I hit the record button, I said something about the roar, because we were talking about the fact that Sonia just rode 2 weeks on a motorcycle all across the West and across places she'd never seen before, almost 5,500 miles on a motorcycle. I cannot even imagine. The thought of even riding a bicycle down the street, I would fall off. And how she does that without being scared blows my mind. But here's the crazy thing, is I know that there are other things that get in her head, just like there are things that get in my head, or there are things that sometimes get in your head, April, or anybody else who's watching this video. There are things that get into your head. So here's the thing. Are you going to listen to the roar that's in your head of the naysayers? Are you going to listen to the blessing that you know is going to come from doing the do to get the get and to help others? Both of those were 2 completely separate, different podcasts I listened to. One was called The Roar, one was called The Blessing, and they were both about 30 minutes long. But in a nutshell, what are you going to end up listening to? Shut the roar down. Shut that naysayer voice. And if it's you that's doing it, give it a name and tell it to sit down and shut the heck up. We all do it. Every 200K that I know that I've talked with, they tend to do it too. And guess what? They've named it. They've had to tell it to sit down, take a back seat, and shut up. You have to do the same thing with yours. Don't let the roar get in your head. Let the part that you know is the blessing get in your head. Because if you are doing this business with your hands closed and closed fists, because you've got something going on in here, you're going to block every blessing that you're supposed to get, and you're going to block the blessings you're supposed to give to other people. And when you got the roar in there and you're listening to it instead, your hands are clenched. That's how I have to look at it for me. So take the tasks that they give us each day and challenge yourself to do that, because I'm challenging myself, and it's really actually fun, because, you know, sometimes we get into the day in, day out, and we're like, oh yeah, I'll get to that later. And then we end up going to bed and we don't get it finished. And this is like just a whole new little recommitment that's going to get us through the summertime. And we know summer's busy, but the great thing about it is that we can work from our phones. You know, you can send messages when you're on the toilet. That's how I worked it during the school year. You know, I sent messages while I was on the potty. And those types of things. So it's just going to kind of give us that recommitment, taking a look at your vision board. If you don't have a vision board, making one. It doesn't have to be fancy schmancy. Getting your things down there. Like Sonia, one of your biggest goals for this year, you just met. Holy cow. You could go, okay, done, and just ignore your board for the rest of the year. But we can't do that. We got to put new goals on there. Okay. And I know how long you saved and you worked in getting ready for that trip and so forth. So let's put some new stuff on your board. And last thing that I had you do last week is I had you take a look and see how many friends did you have on Facebook? Because each week we are going to add to that. Okay. Let me go back to my last Wednesday, see how many friends I had. Okay. All right. I have definitely added more. I've added like 10 more. Now, one thing I did do the other day, oh, look at you counting over there. Oh my gosh, you're so cute. Somebody popped up that it was their birthday and they were no longer with us. And it was somebody that I knew from an acquaintance and so forth. And I felt kind of guilty, but I unfriended them. And so I unfriended a dead person. And I felt bad, but there was nothing going on the page. I double checked to see if it was a remembrance page. And so when you come across people that maybe are no longer with us, and if you feel like it's the right time, there's some I've kept for years. I just can't do it yet. You know what I mean? If there's someone that you see that you're friends with that is a thriver and you're like, oh my gosh, they're a thriver. I don't even know who that person is. They live in 5 states away or whatever. Unfriend them. If it's a leader, just follow them. They've got the setting set where you can just follow them. But make way for new blessings, new friends that can come into your network. So take a look what your friends are, write it down. Next week, we're going to revisit it. And we're going to be talking more about the things that are in the Soar to 4 group and keeping us going, keeping that momentum going. And hopefully you can have your friends list by then. April, I bet you may be able to go to the library or somewhere, have a friend or someone help you with printing out your friends list. Since you don't have access to a computer or, you know, iPad thing or whatever. Check with a friend and see if that's something that they may have. And if they can send you the document, you can always send it to places like Staples. They'll print it for minimal. Yeah. Do what?
Maybe you could access it at work.
Mm-hmm.
Get on your Facebook page at work if you have a laptop at work and print it there.
So there's different ways that we can as different ways to skin a cat, so to speak. Sorry, that we can make sure that you do get that. So if you need any other ideas, you can always message and we can get you some ideas, or you can Google. Google's my best friend. So anyway, y'all have a great rest of the week. Update your vision board. Keep plugging along, and then April, find out who your 200K is. Ask them to put you in the Soar to 4 group. So biggest hugs, everybody.